Welcome in, everybody. We are
Yo.
live in the dojo with Bentley433, and we're going to be doing some Great League today, learning and growing as battlers together, coaching in the inadequate style where he will be muted during the games. We're not trying to give him an unfair advantage during his games against his opponents by me giving him feedback as things are happening or counting for him, but so that we can, the fruits of your channel points. That's right, J. Robin Stacks gifted this coaching session, courtesy of J. Robin Stacks. Bentley, go ahead and show them what we're working with. We talked a little bit before stream. He really enjoys running. That's not what it didn't save it. We hit the X instead of the done.
Niantic for you.
We have all done that. So he wanted to run a Talonflame and pair it with a Meganium. Those are pretty good duo core. Couple shared weaknesses. You're looking at like Machamp and Galvantula, but they still have play in those matchups. And so we reformatted a little bit to run kind of a double flyer backline. So we have something closer to a safe swap, because in his previous line, nothing really felt safe there. And this line will be safe swapping the Mandibuzz out of bad leads for Meganium. Queue up and I'll deafen you, and we can watch your game and give you some feedback. All right, here we go. All right, so we got Meganium lead into Azu. That is Poggers. This is the lead we want. Opponent not instantly swapping out. Swaps out a little late there. Goes to Talonflame. Maybe we wanted to throw one Frenzy before we swapped out because we have such a good lead matchup to like guarantee we get this switch. Under the 30-second switch timer, you would never really want to do that. That's pretty high risk. But now that we're back to the minute switch timer, you can usually afford to throw that one move to soften up the swap. And switch is pretty important to us here because we don't want that Mandibuzz lined up on their Azu. They're going to throw right here in the middle. Although we can probably just shield and force win this matchup. Got a little greedy there. I think we probably want to try to guarantee switch. Yep, I like it. Maybe we just go for flame charges now. There we go, I like that. 2 flame charges. If we get both shields and then they kill us, we can maybe farm this down and create a winning situation. Because they might have like it might be like a double dark backline, and Meganium will be okay there with an energy lead. So we get both shields. That KOs come in probably with the Meganium. Switch timer's up, so we don't have to wait there too long, and we want to farm here. We are okay tanking a foul play. Okay, he throws just before. Decent count. I think the opponent was just that one off. And he doesn't want to tank a foul play, which is understandable. Tropius. That's Razor Leaf Tropius. That's not as bad, but still not good for us. Let's see if we can drag this match out long enough. Might be able to, with the Snarl Aerial Aces, be able to drag this match up long enough that we can get back out. It's what? It's 2 play roughs or 3 ice beams? It's not a good situation. Yeah, the Tropius does hardwall the Meg, but it's a Razor Leaf Tropius. So if we can get this Mandibuzz back out and kill this Azu, I think there's still play. Right, that's our win condition, is getting to another move here. If we needed to have energy on the Meg. They win CMP here. This probably puts us too low that we ever get to a move against the Tropius, honestly. I don't think, yeah, the Razor Leafs will just kill us before we can get to a move now. We do resist the Razor Leafs, and we want to swap here. Throw the Frenzy. I like that. That's good clean play. And then we have double resisted Frenzy Plant, and they have single resisted Razor Leaf. So they're gonna grind us down. Probably kill us when they get to probably 1 Aerial Ace plus a little bit. We want to throw Frenzy Plants in this matchup. Earthquake's triple resisted. It's not a good situation. So I think maybe the main point here will be when they swap in that Umbreon, both of our Mons in the back don't have very clean matchups there. So we want to be throwing that Frenzy Plant before we swap out to soften it up. And that's something we can carry into other matchups as well. Just noting when a swap comes in, we don't have a hard counter for. And that's just gonna, he's gonna get us 2 Razor Leafs. All right, we'll unmute him. All right, how'd you feel about that game?
I think I did about as good as I could. There was no way I was going to be Tropius in the back, unfortunately.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, once we lost Switch, right? Like once we lost Switch,
exactly.
had to make lineup. So how could we have helped ensure we won Switch in that matchup?
I guess I could have Brave Birded right away. I didn't want to drop my defense too hard because, I mean, if I was going to commit 2 shields, I guess go for what was going to hit the hardest, because usually Umbreon doesn't shield that first move. Because essentially once he shielded I noticed he shielded the first Flame Charge, and I'm like, oh, he's just going to shield the second one and foul play me and take Switch back. So
yeah. So my thought on that was because, once they swap in that Umbreon, right, we know that we don't really have anything that's going to kill Umbreon in the 2 shields if the Umbreon's at full health. So if we stay in there with the Meganium to throw a Frenzy Plant first, then we can create a situation where the Umbreon is either down a shield or like a Frenzy Plant hits it pretty hard, and then maybe we're in a position where the Talonflame can beat it in like the 2-1 or the 2s when the Umbreon's going to be at a foul play already, but it will have taken a Frenzy Plant worth of damage.
Okay.
So that was my thought there, especially since they swapped out a little slow. We were already like 4 Vine Whips in when they swapped out.
Yeah.
Might be able to get that Frenzy.
I follow.
Because Switch is like probably important to there, right? Because we know that our Meganium has a really positive matchup with the Azu. They probably have something to kill on the back.
Yeah, and if we got the Mandy on the Trope, then things would have been good to go. So.
Yep.
Cool.
All right.
I'll queue back up here.
Sounds good. This is not a great matchup. It's not terrible. Goes to our safe swap. Good call. Opponent swaps to a Talonflame. So we should be able to flip this. Might want to time that a little better. We gave them kind of a full Incinerate there. For 5 turn moves, we want to throw 3 Snarls. 2, 3 Snarls. What's up, Matt Beer? Let's see, they just go Flame Charge. So now we want to throw 1. 1's okay. That gives them 2 free turns. That's better than 2, right? If we throw 2, that's 6 turns. They're going to start the second Incinerate just after, just before we throw the move. So we definitely don't want to throw 2. We can throw 1 or 3. I wonder if we can shield. I don't know if we can Snarl down from here, but that might be the play. If we can get there, 2, 3. Yeah, because we weren't going to get the 4th one to register before they could throw a move there. So it makes sense they would just opt out. So we win Switch. We have a Talonflame lined up on a Venusaur now, which is awesome. And we get to see probably what their 3rd mon is. They don't want to bring the Venusaur. They bring the Venusaur back in here. Okay. So their other mon really doesn't want to see a flyer. Feels weird. Or it's a Confusion user, maybe? Doesn't want to see a Dark type? Either way, it feels pretty good. They shielded an Aerial Ace, which is generally not very efficient. We can bring in our Talonflame here. See if they want to switch out. I think personally I no-shield this, but I could go either way. It is, I mean, it's almost certainly a Sludge Bomb, but it's not going to put us in lethal range. Oh, nice. It's a Mew. So, yeah, I didn't want to see the Dark type. Most Mews in the back? I mean, if we get surprised by an Overheat, we can lose this, but most Mews are running Wild Charge, which we don't care about. The other move would be Flame Charge or Surf. He did farm up quite a bit there. I would no-shield this. The Talonflame's our win condition. So we can afford to tank whatever this is. They Wild Charge. They're probably on Wild Charge Surf. So we can tank both of these. We can farm down. Hopefully we can get to an Earthquake against the Venusaur. That ELO is not up to date. I think we can get to an Earthquake here. We went for it, didn't quite get there. Frenzy Plant would have been better knowing we couldn't do that, but probably should throw that Flame Charge right away so this Incinerate does more damage. But you don't want to give him any free Vine Whips either. We'll see if one more kills or if we need two. Oh, it's going to be close, chat. It's going to be close because they're going to get to throw at least two more Vine Whips now. If we'd thrown that Incinerate first... Oh, we got back-to-back. We're good. My mic's in the way of seeing my energy. There we go. Move the mic out of the way. We got back-to-back. We're good. All good. We'll unmute him. All right. How'd you feel about that one?
Bit better.
Yeah.
That was a good, effective Mandibuzz safe swap there.
Yeah. I like the way you played that. I think you and I both were a spot where, like, did you at least think about trying to farm down with the Mandibuzz? Were you like, can I get this farm down? And then you opted to...
Yeah. Yeah, I just didn't want to have to commit my last shield to win back switch because I was like, either I'm going to get a shield off them or, you know, I'm going to take switch back and be able to align my Talonflame, so...
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
The Mandibuzz safe swap definitely worked there. And then I liked the decision to no shield the Meganium against the Mew. Because even if it was a Flame Charge the first time, it wouldn't have been lethal. And the Talonflame was always our win condition. So I liked your decision making there when you decide to shield.
Yeah, and I was figuring, I don't know, I feel like a lot of safe swap Mews don't run Flame Charge. I see that in the lead more, so.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Cool.
Good call.
I'll queue back up here.
Sounds good. This is a good lead for us. We resist Earthquake, swap out. There we go. I like that. That's our safe swap here because the Pelipper is not very good for our Talonflame. Those Weather Balls. But Mandy's just going to outbulk it. Looks like it's going to be 2 foul plays here to get the kill. And probably takes 3 Weather Balls to kill us. Oh yeah, at least 3 Weather Balls. So we can no-shield this again. And then if they shield, we can shield. And we should be able to just stay ahead of them the rest of the way down to guarantee switch. And Mandibuzz has like the GFIS matchup isn't terrible. Like the GFIS is going to have a really hard time mud-shotting us down if they opt to play it that way. 1, 2. And honestly, like, we could shield or no shield this. Like, I'd rather shield this because I don't want the wing attacks on the Meganium. But, like, being up a shield here isn't bad either. Given that we have a Talonflame that can ramp up and kind of incinerate down even a G-Fisk if it's got enough shield advantage. But they let that go. G-Fisk comes back in. It's going to really struggle to mudshot us down, and so we'll get some of these foul plays off. Which is some good chip. It means that maybe if we can get 2 of these off, 1 Frenzy Plant will be enough to kill the G-Fisk instead of having to go for an Earthquake. Also, they had 1 Flyer. Probably another Flyer in the back. We just let this go. We won switch. Feels good. I like that farm. And then we get to throw this, because they have to throw like 3 Rock Slides to kill us. So like we're not in a hurry to get out of this matchup. Got it at CMP. We just tank this. I think they're going to get to 1 more Rock Slide before we can farm down. What's up, Miss Alicia? Hello. They swap out to Venusaur. And then we see that flipping switch is really important. So there's a standard G-Fisk. Ooh, that free Incinerate. Standard G-Fisk, Venu, Core, and then there you're running Pelipper as their safe swap. Pelipper is a pretty solid safe swap, but the Mandibuzz just outbulks it in a way that makes that matchup pretty favorable for this line. Give it to St. Georges. All right. St. Georges, hit me hit me up, join the Discord server, and then you can send me a DM on Discord, and we'll set up a date. Here's also the schedule. You can check that and get on the we'll get you on the schedule. Oh, that's too noisy. Rock Slide takes us out, but we can just Vine Whip down from here. GG, we'll get him back up in here. All right, Bentley, how'd you feel about that one?
That went pretty well.
Yeah. They're running the GFisk Venu pretty standard, and then they had the Pelipper safe swap, and you just made the good call there to go to your safe swap in a response, because neither of our other mons are good there, and seemed pretty straightforward there. I liked your shielding decisions. I like that you went for some farm on your Meganium you didn't throw right away, in case they tried to swap out or something. I thought that was pretty well played, because nothing the GFisk was going to throw was going to kill you. So
yeah, that's what I was figuring. So, and I figured they had to have some sort of answer to a fighter grass in the back too. So
yep.
So yeah,
it was a good one.
Cool.
Playing it pretty clean so far, man. I like it.
Appreciate it. I'll hop back in here.
All right. So this is not a great matchup for us. We can try to play it out though. They're at Ice Punch right now if they have it. Because we threw 6 times 8. 6 punches is, yeah. 42. Ice Punch is 40. So there's probably an Ice Punch. Nope, Pup. So they're probably running Pup Psychic. And we swap to our Mandy. Alright, so this is a probably Medi double steel line. This is actually good for us that they brought out the Basti here, because our Talonflame is a way better matchup with GFisk than it does with Basti. There's still a chance they have something else in the back, that it's a Medi-Basti duo with some kind of safe swap, but I have kind of a feeling that the most likely thing in the back is then a second steel. And you can see Mandy just so thick. Maybe an Azu Smash King. That's a possibility as well. That would fall under kind of like just a solid safe swappy kind of third. That's a little worse for us if that's what it is, because we're going to lose switch here. But we're up a shield. And they're definitely going into Meganium. They hard swap, and they have their own Meganium. That's really good for us. The Basti's still pretty healthy though, so I'd like to see us farm to 2 before we throw. They just Frenzy Plant? Okay. I'd like to throw all of the, get to 2 and then throw. Because I want us to, the reason I'm saying that, chat, is because I want us to be able to throw a Flame Charge on the Basti right away and not have to tank any smackdowns. So we just killed this. The Basti's going to come back in. It's going to get 2 smackdowns on us. And if we'd gone to 100 energy first, we could have thrown that first Flame Charge and immediately Flame Charged this Basti and not taken those. Oh, that damage. Medi's still going to struggle to counter us down from here. So it's going to throw right away. This is probably just a Pup, because I don't think they farmed to enough to throw anything else. Oh, he swaps out there. The Talonflame wins CMP, so I can see that that is a good play. We're going to swap out here, throw this Frenzy Plant. Threatens pretty close to lethal. I think this would put him in like 5% range. I don't know that it quite kills a Medi from there. And then I would save the shield. There's no point shielding this one. Oh, it's Pup Ice Punch. Oh, Brave Bird. Swag on him. Pup Ice Punch. Interesting that he threw a Pup first at the beginning, given that that's what it was. All right, Bentley, how'd you feel about that one?
That, I do not know why they swapped a Meganium, and that pretty much won me that game.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't know what you had in the back, right? So
yeah.
The one thing that I wanted to make a special note of that one was you have your Talonflame locked in against the Meganium.
Yeah.
You know they have a Basti.
Yeah.
So I'm curious why you threw at 4 incinerators instead of going to 5 and then throwing.
That's a good call. I guess throwing another one, taking a frenzy plant probably wouldn't have mattered there, and then I'd have back-to-back flame charges.
I mean, the frenzy plant's honestly less damage probably than 2 smackdowns.
That's fair. I was thinking, I guess I was just thinking to get my attack ramped up so I could do more damage to the Basti when it came back, but that was kind of my in-game thought process there. So.
Yeah, given that the Basti was already kind of low, like obviously it ended up living that flame charge by like 1 incinerate worth of damage, but there's some, not knowing what its IVs are or whatever. Like I think we're better off there if we go to the 100, then kill the Meganium, and then we have that move right away. And that might even set us up in a situation where the switch timer's back up and we don't have to tank any smackdowns on it. We could throw that flame charge and then immediately go to Meg, and we're still up a shield on the Medi.
Yep. Cool.
So that would be my...
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right.
Alrighty.
But I like the way you saved the Talonflame at the end there and saved the shield. That was really nice.
Yeah, I figured if I stored the Brave Bird, I was going to get the shield with the Frenzy Plant, and then,
Yep. I like calling those. That was a nice checkmate. There's no way for him once you set that up. Nice. Yeah. All right, jump to the next one.
All right.
Ekalika, he's playing just a little above 2,300, like 2,340, I think, is what his starting ELO is. So I'd like to see him go Talonflame here. Even though Mandy's normally our safe swap, Mandy's kind of the harder answer to this. But we pull out the Azu anyways, so that's good. Like there are some times where your safe swap is the better answer for something, and so you're better off going to your unsafe swap to try to get a better matchup at the end. Yeah, this definitely isn't a good situation, J. Robin Stacks. That's definitely not a good situation. But we'll get some chip here. Ideally, our opponent doesn't overfarm too much, because they have to throw 2 moves to kill us anyways. And Drifloon only single resist Frenzy Plant, so it still is going to do a chunk to it. Ooh, we get a Snarl through. This is one move. Our opponent's like 1 or 2 bubbles away from the next one. Play Rough. They don't have Ice Beam, so it's 2 Play Roughs to KO. 2... I mean, they're throwing Play Rough means they may not have Ice Beam, so we could go for a really aggressive farm down here. Like no shield this first one, aggressively farm down, I think is our best condition because we're so far behind off that lead and switch. They switch again? Ooh, we're gonna have to shield this because this icy, it won't quite KO, but it'll really hurt. I would have shielded that icy one. Oh, it does KO. Oh, we just lost 100 energy. Oh, chat. Because I don't know that Talonflame needs 2 shields to win this matchup if we throw those Frenzy Plants. And the Azu's still alive. Yeah. We could have definitely gone for the aggressive farm down there. They swapped out to prevent it, and then we let them snipe us. And we're like ramping up our attack, but they're icy winding us back, setting it back down, so we're not getting much of an actual ramp up here. And the Azu swapped out with some energy. I just don't know. I don't think we can incinerate this down because the icy ones keep resetting our attack. Azu comes back in. Okay, we have to... Well, that's good. Weird play by our opponent. I'm guessing they were 1 bubble off of a Hydro Pump there. Okay, that didn't KO. Oh, please kill this. Please die, please die. Okay. And what's in the back? Diggersby. This is 1 attack up Brave Bird. The play might have been another Flame Charge first, because now an EQ definitely kills us. EQ might have killed us either way. We'll pull that matchup up on PV Poke and give it a look. All right, I'm pulling up that that Diggersby matchup from the end because I think that there might have been a different win condition there for us.
Yeah, I feel maybe I could have flame charged and brave birded potentially.
It would have been really close. Earthquake does 39%. It would have been really close.
Yeah, I feel that would have definitely taken me out. I was getting pretty close to the red.
But the other thing I wanted to ask about was why did you no shield the Meganium?
Yeah, I thought I could survive that icy wind, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, I was talking to chat and I was like I think we survived this just 1 or 2%, but I still think that shielding that's probably the play.
Okay.
Because we had that much energy on it. And even with 1 stage down attack and it being single resisted, like those frenzy plants were going to do a lot of damage to that Driftblim. And he was only at 1 move, so it's not like he could like force you to he couldn't throw the one, you shield it, throw another one, force the other shield. There's no way he was forcing both shields there.
Yeah,
so
I follow.
I think I would have liked shielding that one to guarantee we get to throw both those frenzy plants. Or even if we just threw 1 frenzy plant there and then swapped out, because the Azu was at low health and didn't have any energy. And we saw there that we were able to farm it down with the Talonflame with unboosted incinerates. So
yeah,
I think that maybe if we shield that, throw 1 frenzy and swap out, probably in a little better position.
Yeah, as soon as my Meg died, I was like, I pretty much threw it because I threw 100 energy on that thing too. So
yeah, no, I really liked that aggressive farm down, and it put your opponent in a position where then he switch locked himself to try to prevent you from farming all the way down.
Yeah,
which was good for us. But we definitely needed to save that energy.
No, I follow. So, all right, on to the next.
Yep. All right, so this is a pretty neutral matchup. Umbreon is bulkier than we are, but our moves are more efficient. Vine Whip, 2.5 damage per turn, 4 energy per turn. And Frenzy Plant is, busted, as J. Robin Sachs would say. But Umbreon is very thick. Also, thank you for that follow, Tepid Tea Water. And, Hydrate. We got a Hydrate in there in the queue. We can afford to tank this one. This isn't lethal either. I swap to a Hypno. And we have a really good counter swap for that. Oh, and we get a Snarl through. Feels good. Yeah. Who actually wins Umbreon Meg? I can pull that up. Okay. Browser properties. We will look it up while he continues to play. Umbreon. Also, my washer and dryer just got here, so we're going to get a brief break after this game. So let's look. Umbreon wins the zeros, and Meg wins the 1s and 2s. On default stats. I like this aggressive Snarl down. Yeah, sneaking just a couple Snarls there could make the difference in that one. That looked like Charm. That chunk of health did not look like a Powder Snow's worth chunk of health. But we have a Talonflame for this. So that feels pretty nice. And the Meg matchup's not that bad against Charm Ninetales. Because the ice damage is what's more threatening to us than the charms are. Oh, look at those chunks of Incinerate damage. Worst case here is Psyshock. Puts us a little under half. Just a Weather Ball also puts us just a little under half. I probably would have Brave Birded there because I don't think that this Flame Charge ever KOs. And we had the energy for either one there. Yeah, they no-shield it. We can tank this. I'm not sure if we get a farm down here, though. Oh, we do. Beautiful. But we're only going to get one move off here, because the charm's like always going to come through there and it's going to KO us. So I do kind of wish we had Brave Birded earlier, because we're just not going to get 2 moves off here. It was a good farm down, though. But it looks like we still get to this flame charge before... Well, we have a shield still. So we could have incinerated again. Nope, we got switched there. Our opponent, even though we were down a shield, opponent swapped out. We get switched there and lock it up. Still with a shield left. 1 shield flexing on our opponent. What's up? What do you think about that game, Bentley?
That went well. I was gonna say I could have thrown a little earlier on my Meganium because I wasted a full Frenzy Plant there. I mean, technically Talonflame could have done no work at all, if you will. So
yeah.
But those charms are sneaky, so
yeah, it's really hard to deny a move on the come in like that. Like it almost always they'll get one through. Chat asked, and I looked it up. The Umbreon versus Meganium. Meganium should win the 1s and 2s, so it makes sense that once you showed that you were going to shield it all, and Umbreon wins the 0s. So once you showed that you were going to shield it all, they swapped out. Okay, is a play that makes sense from their angle, but Hypno not that safe of a swap. And,
no, and it wasn't running Thunder or Ice Punch, which was pretty weird.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because they have the Charm Ninetales in the back, they probably feel like they need to have Fire Punch, or as a coverage move for Steel types. Otherwise, they're just SOL if they run up against like a Bastia or a G-Fisk in the back.
Yeah, that makes sense. I suppose. Cool. Yeah.
All right.
Alrighty, I'll hop back in queue here.
Yep. That's a really good lead for us. And because this is a really good lead, that means switch is really important. I don't know that this is... I mean, the counter's doing neutral to us. He's resisting our snarls. I have a feeling this is not a favorable matchup for us. Especially if he has Gunk or Cross Chop or Hyper Beam, I guess. All those are options. Kind of would have liked when we saw this to go Talonflame, since we were counter swapping, right? So maybe we'll have a little chat after the game about the difference between safe swap and counter swap. Because this is no Machamp. It doesn't have a rock move that threatens Talonflame. Yeah, I agree. Smash and Slaughter. We'll have a little talk about safe swap versus counter swap. I think he probably identified that as well. After he did that, he's like playing this matchup out and going, "This does not feel good." Can you still make this happen? Because we really, really want to win switch. Like that Swampert is going to annihilate our Talonflame. That's another reason also we should bring in Talonflame there, right? Because we know that the Swampert has a really positive matchup there. And as much as the Meganium has a dominant matchup, the Mandibuzz has a decent matchup against Swampert, where the Talonflame is just going to get rocked by Hydro Cannon. His counting seems pretty on point. Not shielding that one, knowing it couldn't be a Gunk. He's undercharging here because that was a CMP. Opponent shields though. So we no shield this one. Shields this one. Okay. We're leaving our Talon with 0 shields against Swampert. That feels a little scary. But we do get the farm down. We'd still be alive if we had no shielded that. Oh, but the shield means that we get... Oh, that catch. Well, Bentley put himself in a pretty good position here. But our opponent makes a really good catch on that Earthquake. They're counting super clutch. But I think we can still win this, right? The Talonflame can just Brave Bird and kill the AWAC. Oh, he goes... Does the Brave Bird kill now, chat? If we got off that Frenzy Plant, the Brave Bird definitely KOs. So we got a little... I mean, sometimes, and this happens to all of us, right? Like, the opponent made a really good catch. And then we're not playing optimally after that. Like, we're a little tilted, a little flustered. Brianna, you got that? All right, we'll unmute him. Hey, what do you think about that one? What are your thoughts on that game?
I needed a frenzy plant that I didn't have that Marowak and Brave Bird range, so that's what I was thinking is I needed to flame charge than Brave Bird, so if I probably would have gotten that frenzy plant off and chipped him enough, and then I could have one shot with Brave Bird. So
totally agree with that. Is there anything earlier in the match you think you could have done differently?
I don't think Mandibuzz was probably the right swap in there.
There you go.
Just because he was taking neutral from counter instead of resisted, so.
And
I knew he was building to a gunk shot or hyper beam. I was just like, I need to call it correctly, and I didn't. So,
and also just knowing that like, if the Meganium has a really good matchup with the Swampert, so it's really nice if we can secure that matchup by winning switch. But if you're not sure, like, can I guarantee that matchup? We want to bring in the one in our back that has a worse matchup, right? So like, if we ended up in a situation where Talonflame loses switch to the Obscune, which I think that it's probably pretty favored in that matchup. But if it did, at least then we're getting our Mandibuzz lined up with the Swampert instead of having our Talonflame lined up with Swampert, right?
That makes sense.
Just want to kind of reinforce the idea of, we have a safe switch. Safe switch is for when we lose lead. Most of the times when we win lead, we don't want to bring our safe switch into their safe switch. We want to bring in our, what I term the counter switch, our harder counter. So most of the time, if they safe switch, we want to counter switch.
Okay.
Because our counter switch usually has a worse matchup with their lead. Because our Backmon, our Talonflame, and our Megadium are mostly covering each other. So if we're swapping out, we're going safe switch most of the time. If they swap first, we probably want to be thinking like, they swapped out, I probably want to go Talonflame.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that makes sense. And then again, if Swampert comes back in, you don't have to worry about getting one shot by a Hydro Cannon.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
But you also identified that, at the end, they made a really good play with that catch on the EQ. Like, props to our opponent. That was a good play. And then I think you identified from there that you still had a potential for a win if you threw that Frenzy Plant instead of trying to force the second EQ. So
yeah, and I thought I could get to an EQ on the AWAC. So
yeah, nope. It was a good thought, good try, but it came up a little bit short. But I think we had a more secure match there if we made some of those decisions a little different at the beginning.
Sounds good.
All right.
We'll jump into the next one here.
Dr. Roast Beef, what are times when you wouldn't switch in response? We talked about earlier, if neither of our Backmons has a dominant matchup or a winning matchup against the middle thing, we might want to stay in and chip with a Frenzy Plant first. So like this might be a matchup where we want to stay in, we want to Frenzy and then swap out. Because we're going to lose this matchup. Or we could try to like catch a foul play on Mandibuzz here. Might be a play. If we're counting those counters. In theory, he should have gotten there about the same time we did. Other times you wouldn't swap out is if they swap in and your lead has a really positive matchup against once they switch in. If they were like in an ABA situation and they swap in their other Mon, he should get to this. Yep. Good catch. Good count. Catches the foul play, the boosted foul play here on Mandibuzz, so he doesn't have to shield the Meganium. And that's probably going to force our opponent to swap out. Oh, no, they're staying in. I like that play because it makes a lot of the opponent's energy less effective. And also, like, kind of makes our opponent want to swap up, where they would then lose the buff. But this opponent's staying in, just trying to ramp up, really committed to this Scrafty at this point. 2 buffs in, probably just going to straight pup and try to pressure us down with counters. Nope, we get them to swap out. All right, now we've seen Scrafty and Vig. So they're ABA weak to counter. Probably a Charmer, but I think that they would have counter swapped with their Charmer if that was the case. So really unclear what, it could be a triple counter team. Could be Deoxys in the back. Or yeah, like Drifblim, like, it seems like they should have a really hard answer for counter. Like right now, a Metacham just like runs over their team. But I like his play here to just let the Mandy die, come in with the Talonflame, start ramping up. Our opponent doesn't have shields. We have a shield. We'll probably see something more damaging than this Body Slam, so I like that call in the no shield there. Up there at 2, probably shield this one, right? Otherwise, we're just too low. And then we want to throw right away. We don't want this Mon to get another move. If we throw 2 Incinerates, that's 10 turns, he'll be at another Body Slam. So he probably gets to throw that before we do. So we throw right away to delete that possibility. And we see what comes in. Jellicent. Jellicent's their hard anti-fighter in the back. Bubble Beam? Does Bubble Beam KO us from here? No? Brave Bird? Like it. And we were one stage up, so this is a neutral Brave Bird. We were one stage up, one stage down. And then he's going to swap immediately. And we just have to throw this. Is Frenzy... It's going to be really close, chat. I don't think this Frenzy KOs the Scrafty from here. We caught the energy, so the Scrafty's on dry. But I don't know that we can farm it down before it KOs us. Okay, he wasn't dry. We caught it at really awkward timing then, which is super heads up. But I think we just lose this one now. Yeah. Frenzy wasn't quite enough. All right, we're going to bring him back in. All right, what did you think about that game?
I think I probably should have swapped out a Scrafty earlier because I felt obviously he was weak to Meg in the back. That's why he was shielding that thing. So
yeah,
and he was weak to Dark in the back. So that's why he was shielding Mandibuzz, the aerial aces from that guy as well. So
yeah, I mean that team was very weird. Like that's I don't know how much familiar you are with like the term, but like that was a very ABA team. Like his lead was weak to counter, his Vigoroth also weak to counter.
Yeah.
So in chat we were like hypothesizing like he probably has a very hard anti-counter user in there, and it turned out to be the Jellicent.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean that's really hard to read from that situation. I think you did a really good job catching the foul play, but then it was immediately scary when then he didn't swap the Scrafty out and just kept staying in and shielding and pupping.
Because I didn't want his Scrafty to ramp up too much on my Meganium because then he just counters me down.
Yeah.
In a 2-shield, obviously. Yeah. So yeah, I was figuring he's weak to flying in the front too, so I was trying to bait something out because I had a second flyer. So.
But he didn't really have, like, the Jelly's not really that hard of an anti-flyer, especially when it's running Bubble Beam.
No.
So that felt pretty strange.
Yeah.
I guess that all three of those Mons lose to Altaria. Altaria just kind of runs over that line. So yeah, I don't feel that, like, when you're playing, like, we're running an ABB, but it's fairly balanced. And when you run into some of these really unbalanced teams, it's hard to read what they're doing and hard to find a win condition because it's just like, what is even going on here? But I think you played it pretty well. Like, catching the foul play was really good. But it just wasn't enough given what their composition was.
Exactly. All right, cool.
Jump into the next one. Okay. I'm not convinced that's a bad matchup, but I don't mind the swap out. Ooh, we have an energy lead in this matchup where we get to throw foul plays at this ghost. Feels good. Yeah, G-Fisk gives you very spicy Smash King. And they're at an avalanche right here. CMP. Our opponent over farming pretty significantly or lagging. One of the two. Because they definitely should have gotten to avalanche before we got to the second one. What is... Oh, we shield this 100%. This is CMP. And the foul play, I think, kills it. He's at 2 moves, but like he let us get to a third one. Oh, nope. It was desync CMP chat. Opponent made the crazy play. We no shield. Do we survive this? No. Talonflame? All right. We know that their lead is weak to Talonflame, and we can see that this Frostlass is weak to Talonflame, and we get a free Incinerate through. So we shield this. We shield okay. We shield this Avalanche. It's neutral, but it hurts. We swap out. Okay, throw in the Flame Charge. This puts the G-Fisk in Frenzy Plant range. So I can see that. And the Talonflame resists all of Chestnut's moves. We definitely want to farm up here because we don't want to just give away our Meg to the Frostlass. Opponent EQs, Rock Slide's the move here, chat. Rock Slide is neutral damage and Earthquake is resisted. And even after the nerf, it's still just kind of better to go Rock Slide against Meganium. It also gives you more flexibility because it's less expensive. And we want to be throwing Frenzy Plant here. Because they're going to try to superpower us. They shouldn't be going for Energy Ball because we resist that. I think they're going... Their goal here is to like farm us low enough that one superpower KOs. Because they don't want to have to try to throw 2. And they want to have a move ready for the Talon. I'd swap out here. It kind of would have been nice to catch this on Talonflame. There's the swap. And the opponent also swaps. 1 Incinerate, down goes Frostlass. 1 Incinerate, down goes Chestnut. There's nothing we can do here. If we'd been mashing the move, let's go see who wins CMP chat. In a Chestnut versus Talonflame. If we'd been mashing the Flame Charge there, it looks like on average Talonflames win CMP. If I maximize both the Talonflame, it's really close actually. All right, we'll get him back in here. How'd you feel about that one, Bentley?
That I mean, team comp wise, that was pretty easy. I thought I CMP'd on that Frostlass. So
I also thought you did.
I was like, if I shield, I can follow play it and take it out. So I mean, I wasted a shield, but
yeah, I mean, if you hadn't shielded, like he still is going to throw that Avalanche and you have to shield it on something else. So I don't like mind.
Yeah.
Even if you knew you were like 1 away, like maybe that's still, it pressures him to throw all his energy, and then your Talonflame gets a nice farm down.
Yeah, because then at that point the Frostlass is dry, and then I can just incinerate down. So,
I need to look up. I wanted to look up the Meg versus Chestnut matchup because they have to go like superpowers to kill you, which doesn't feel good. I also looked up. I don't know what the IVs are on your Talonflame, but Talonflame, on average, higher attack than Chestnut. So if you were mashing the Flame Charge there, I don't think they get in the move at the end.
Oh no, I didn't click. I'll be honest, I was trying to Brave Bird him, but I figured I play it safe. So
okay, try to Brave Bird. That makes sense. I was gonna look up. Let's put the browser back on here for chat.
That's my Talonflame.
Chestnut in the 1 shield. Okay, that's pretty solid. So it's likely that you win CMP against that Chestnut.
Yeah.
So Chestnut wins. Okay, Chestnut wins all even shields. I thought it might be a little closer than that because Frenzy Plant's just a better move than what Chestnut has, but it's throwing Energy Ball to bait essentially, and then it's double superpowering to KO, and it's CMPing you on the last one.
Okay. Yeah, those Frenzy Plants hit a lot harder than I thought. That's why I swapped out. I was like, I feel like those were gonna do like a quarter instead of half. So
yeah. I was a little curious on if swapping out there was definitively the play, and you made a good call there. It's definitely a swap out there to our safe swap, because that is not a winning matchup for us.
Cool.
Yeah.
We'll keep rolling.
All right. Maybe that's kind of fair if you like no shielded the first 2. But let's look at like the zeros. In the zeros, it probably just double superpowers to KO. We can do that while this game's starting. G-Fisk lead, we like that. Yeah, and the zero shield, it just double superpower KOs you. So you would have to shield there. I don't mind farming the G-Fisk with the Meganium. There's like nothing the G-Fisk can really do to threaten you, and leaving the G-Fisk matchup with the full Frenzy Plant was really nice. Because the Frenzy Plant really threatens the low health Frostlass, which we don't want to allow to get to another move. I do need to look up what's the better move in this matchup. Aerial Ace is pretty crappy. Medicham versus Mandibuzz. Have not played with either of these much. Foul play 0.86. Okay, so yeah, foul play is not good enough to be better than Aerial Ace in this situation. So his choice to go for Aerial Aces is good. Is that low enough that we can farm it down with Talonflame? Oh, the 1 HP survive. Good job, Mandibuzz. What's up, Cake Bloxy? Cake Bloxy, if you want to join the Discord, that's probably a better place to ask that question than Twitch chat. You can kind of work with myself or other people on the Discord to find things that are in your box that can make a pretty good team, and maybe a little bit of strategy on how to do that in the coaching Pokemon Go coaching questions section. Nope, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Fixed it. GBL coaching questions section. Be a better place for that. Please not Hurricane one time. Beautiful. Yeah, we don't want to let that farm too much. That thing gets to moves way faster than you think it does. Frenzy Plant does a boatload of damage to it. Swaps out here to try to get a farm down. He's going to have to shield one Weather Ball. No shields the Weather Ball. This is going to hurt. I guess it's better than a Rock Slide, so that makes sense. And it might be that if we just save our shield for the Meganium, that's our win condition. But we'll see one. I'd feel really good about this if we got one more Incinerate through, so we knew he couldn't Rock Slide here. But we're just going to go for a farm down with the Meganium, it looks like, and then try to... But we're like low enough that, okay, we just throw. I like that. It means we get to save the shield, and it's going to be a race on Vine Whip versus Wing Attack. The Wing Attacks are super effective. The Vine Whips are neutral, but I think we're higher on health. So that was really well played. I liked how he found a win condition there. All right, Bentley, what did you think about that one?
That went pretty well. I was a little worried about that Pelipper because that beats both my Meganium and my Talonflame, so that's why I was like, I'll chip it. And I mean, luckily those Incinerates did a lot more than I thought. So
yeah, the Mandy surviving that Ice Punch on 1 HP was super clutch.
Yeah, that I thought it was going down, and I was just like, I'll just come back in and Frenzy Plant the thing. So
yeah, that's what I was thinking too. What else? I like the way that you no shielded the Weather Ball because you were fairly certain that he'd get to a Rock Slide, right? So I like,
and I know the Rock Slide one shots me, and I know I can live a Weather Ball. So
yeah, so like that call.
Yeah, I think Meganium's like one of my favorite grass types, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean it's a beast. It's a very bulky for a grass type, and then having the Earthquake coverage for steals is really nice. Puts you, and it's like has a better matchup with Skarm because of the Earthquake, but really struggles against like Tropius and Altaria.
Yeah,
but we got decent matchups for that on our other Mons. Altaria kind of a problem across the team, but we don't see that many Altarias, honestly.
No, they're not really in the meta that much anymore. They're in the lead usually if they are.
Yeah, the Basties and G-Fisks have kind of pushed. I mean, when G-Fisk and Azu are the two most common Mons, it's really hard for Altarias to get a big foothold in the meta.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, you got time for one more, you think?
Yeah, it's 1:23. We got time for like probably 2 more games.
Okay, cool. I'll jump back in queue.
I mean, they're still out there. Like Altaria's just good, but it's definitely not the staple it was in like preseason, season 1, season 2.
Who dares summon me?
There. Speaking of it, well, we summoned a terrible matchup. We go to our Mandibuzz. What's their answer here? No answer. He's over. I like that he farms here extra. In case our opponent tried to swap out, we want to have the energy for it. So we can try to win switch. But really our goal here is just to get shields down. Because our win con is like brave birding this thing. Unless our opponent just stays in here and fights with it. Hopefully it's not Dazzling Gleam Chat. Good, just Sky Attack. We are bulkier than the Altaria, but the Altaria has more efficient moves. Dragon Breath, 4 damage per turn, 3 energy per turn. One of the most efficient moves in the game. Right up there with Counter. That was a no-shield swap out, okay. Man, this is not a good line for us, chat. That was Altaria into a Pelipper. Can we survive this? If we can survive this, we definitely want a no-shield. I like that call. And then I'd like to see us swap probably to Meg, because Meg's going to outpace the... letting him farm us down here, probably not that good. Because they just switched, right? Their switch timer is still on cooldown for a long time. So it wouldn't be that bad for us to hard switch there as well. We farm right up to them getting to a move. We definitely get there before he gets to a hurricane if we swapped out. Oh, tried to call the bait there, but it was not what was happening. But I think if we save that low health Mandibuzz, because our opponent swapped so late in that matchup, it gives us a chance to catch a move later, and it also prevents him from getting to that hurricane before we get to a Frenzy Plant. So I think that's a better win condition for us. We still have some play here. The Altaria is pretty beat up if they have a grass type in the back, which is possible. Altaria weak to Azumarill. A lot of times they'll have a grass in the back to try to cover that weakness. So there's definitely still play here, chat. It's not over, but we're in a pretty bad spot. Our opponent has a mana and a half and is up a shield. We get back-to-back flame charges with no Dragon Breath through. That feels good. They shield one. We go for the farm down. We get the Incinerate through. That's lethal. We have to shield this. Otherwise, we're pretty much dead. Our opponent might swap out to tank this on something else. Nope, lets it go through. Altaria's down. And it is a grass type in the back. And we just double flame charge. Nice. Found a win condition. Yeah, we played our way out of that one. But that's part of like having a team where your lead and your back cover each other really well. Even though we gave up swap and a shield, still get a win there. Better closer. Well, how do you feel about that one?
I literally don't know how I pulled that off. I was like, well, failsafe 2-shield Talonflame. Here we go.
Yep, I like it. I mean, Altaria weak to Azu. A lot of times an Altaria will have a grass type in the back, and you put yourself in a position where you could win the game. Like I like that you know, some people in similar situations might be tempted to like top left, like, oh, now I'm down a shield. They've still got 2 mons left. But you hung in there. Farm down the Altaria. I like it. Trying to think
I think I once heard FP6 say if you have Charizard with 100 energy, it can nuke anything. I think that applies to Talonflame too.
Yeah, that's a fair comparison. Chat, I feel like we were talking about something in the middle of that matchup, but then I got lost in the hype of that close. The middle matchup was no shielding. If so, you let him farm down your Mandibuzz.
Yeah.
With his he had just swapped into that.
Yep.
So
or
I felt
developer.
Yeah, so I felt pretty comfortable if you had, after you threw the weather ball, swapped to your Meganium right away.
Okay.
And then you have your Mandibuzz, like you're down a shield, but if you can save that Mandibuzz for a sack later, it's like having an extra shield.
Makes sense.
And then because the timing there, you'll get to the Frenzy Plant before they get to that Hurricane.
Okay. Yeah, because that extra farm essentially is why they got to that Hurricane.
So in some situations, like you fight for switch, like you win switch, like you let them farm you down because if you switched out, you give up switch then. But in that situation, he stayed in so long and switched so late, the timers were so desync that you could have safely swapped out there and he couldn't like counter swap you again.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was like just erring on the side of not switch locking myself, but I completely forgot he had just swapped on top of that.
Yeah.
So
just something to keep track of. All right, but
absolutely.
Like that was super hype finish. Love the end of that game. And we have time for one more.
that was great. All right, I'll keep back up.
This is a good matchup for us. I think we always no shield the first move here and make them prove they have Ice Beam because it's not even lethal. And most of them are not running it. We get a shield from them first, feels good. And our Mandy has such a good matchup here as well that we can afford to like no shield this. Actually shields the first one. Okay. Well, we'll talk about that at the end. 3, 4. I like how he's farming right up to when the opponent would get it to move. That feels pretty clean. Opponent shields again. Our opponent already showed Shadow Ball. Like if they had Ice Beam, they would have thrown Ice Beam. So like there we go. I like that he no shields this one. Given that our opponent his opponent bubble beams here. Brave move, opponent. 2. Yeah, just kill this. We're already up a shield. Our Meg's still at half health. Not many things really want to try to farm down a Meg from here, except maybe like a Skarm. Jelly Skarm? Jelly Ice type? Okay. Goes to our safe swap. See if we can bait out whatever the Backmon is. Should be able to tank 1 Weather Ball. I don't know if we can actually... Yeah, we can't tank 2 from Shadow. And he's going to get to it right here and CMP it. Oh, we got there 1 turn early. So our opponent doesn't quite get that off. This is going to really hurt that Shadow Obama Snow. And our goal here is just, like, I think that's 1 Incinerate range, chat. We just want him in 1 Incinerate range. He had a Water lead and an Ice type in the back. Very unlikely that he's running Water, Ice, Water. So the Talonflame should have a pretty good matchup with whatever's left. It's a Medicham. And our opponent top lefts. All right, how'd you feel about that one?
Oh, well, I don't know why he stayed in with his Jellison on the front there, but I don't know.
Yeah, I feel he probably could have safe swapped the Medi, right? That was probably what he should have done.
I mean, that would have been a little harder for me to handle. So, but I mean, obviously, once I saw the Obama Snow, I'm like, well, Talonflame's gonna do pretty well here. So I swapped the Mandibuzz in just to start chipping.
Yeah, and maybe that baits out his Backmon, and then you get to see what it is. Your Meganium's still pretty healthy. It's going to get to another move, so I like that.
Yeah.
I was curious on your decision to shield the first move from the Jellison.
I wanted to see if he was running Ice Beam.
Okay.
I know it doesn't one-shot me, but I figured since he threw up a shield, I was just trying to play it out. I knew he wasn't going to bait that first move. So
you knew he wasn't going to bait the first.
I had a pretty inkling feeling just because I was outpacing him to Frenzy Plants pretty quickly. So
the Ice Beam only does 58%. So I would just encourage you to, like, it's just like kind of like Azu, right? Like you just don't have to shield 1 Ice Beam, and even if he lands the Ice Beam, I don't think he can ever hex you down.
That makes sense.
So
I thought it was gonna. I didn't give Meg enough credit for its tankiness there. So
yeah, let's see. This is the 2-0. He's gonna have to throw a second Ice Beam. And if we have no move, and he throws 1 Ice Beam, what's that look like? I'm doing this it's on the screen. You can't really see it, but like
I'm following.
You're gonna. Where's 100 energy? You're going to get to the 3rd Frenzy Plant before he can hex you down. So you can always tank the first one.
Okay.
And that saves you, like, the awkwardness of if they throw a Bubble Beam there, that would feel awkward. Like, you'd still win the matchup, but it, like, feels bad to shield the Bubble Beam.
Feels real bad.
And the Ice Beam only does 58%, and if they don't have Ice Beam and they just straight up Shadow Ball you, the Shadow Ball only does 48%. So you're like really safe there to no shield the first one. And you can then get 2 shields out of him before you have to shield it all. And that's a really commanding position to be in from there. And then you can decide if you want to shield the second one and then kill him.
Absolutely. Or just farm up some more or something like that. So,
exactly.
Yeah, makes sense. Cool.
That's about all the time we got for today. Thank you, Bentley421, for coming in and joining us for this coaching session. And thank you, J. Stacks, for saving up your points, redeeming this coaching session, and gifting it to Bentley. I'd like to thank you for joining us today in the dojo. If you value these coaching VODs, you can give this video a like, you can subscribe to my channel, or you can leave some feedback below in the comments. Also, in the description are links to my Twitter and Twitch. You can follow me there for additional content. I live stream on Twitch Monday through Friday starting at noon Pacific. I would love to have you join us there so we can learn and grow together.